everybody, it's Jillian from Mama's Craft Sanctuary, here with our craft of the week, back after a couple weeks off for some summer fun. Today we're going to start actually the first one of a 3-part series. I'm going to show you how to go basically from a plain boring shirt or sweater or whatever you want to something that has fun designs, your own personal whatever design you want to do using the vinyl and the Cricut and all of that here. So let's get started. Okay, so the first thing I'm going to say is that I am not going to teach you how to use Cricut Design Space, because that is it's a huge program, which is amazing. You can do a gazillion different things, and there's no way I could get that into a roughly 3-minute video. Also, there's thousands of tutorials out there. So Cricut Design Space is what you're going to want to look up. If you are going to look that up, if you already know how to, great, it's awesome. The nice thing is that you can work on it at home on your computer and then bring your computer here and cut it out here. Okay, so here's my design that I've got ready to go. It says, yep, I talk to chickens, because I do. Okay, so I've got that ready to go. I've got my computer here. I'm going to show you where everything is. Okay, so our Cricut is here. As I've said before, you do not have to have your own Cricut. So, if you are setting up Cricut Design Space for the first time, it's going to ask you if you want to connect a Cricut and like what type of Cricut. This is the one that we have here is from the Cricut Explore family. So that's going to be one of the options. So that's that. When you do get here, you're going to want to connect your computer to the Cricut using Bluetooth if possible. If not, we have a cord for it, but it runs best through Bluetooth. It says right here what you're going to be looking for, and it might ask you for a pin, and the pin is 0000. I didn't make that one up. That's what it came with. At any rate, so here's the Cricut. Come over here. We have 2 different carts. This cart has all regular vinyl or pressure sensitive vinyl. This is the vinyl that's basically like sticky. You can just stick it on something like a sticker. And then this cart over here has the heat transfer vinyl. That's what we're going to be using for putting anything on clothing like that. That's going to be basically ironed on. So here's all our vinyl here that you can use. There's several rolls up here. There's a huge roll of white, because that's everybody needs white. And then some variety. There's also a binder down here that has a lot of vinyl. These are going to be typically like 12 by 12 squares of vinyl or scraps. So if you have some leftover scraps that you think are still big enough to be used by somebody, you could put them in here, just divided by color. And our regular vinyl has a binder as well if you want to use that. Cords, you are going to need at least the power cord. If you are not able to connect your computer to the Cricut, then there is a USB cord as well that you can use to connect it. There are power strips down here, one on this side and one just on that side over there. All right, so we're just gonna plug it in here. That's for the USB one if you need it. There's that. We're gonna go ahead and power it on. And we're gonna grab a mat right here. Cover. And grab our vinyl. I want the super blingy, awesome vinyl. Okay, I cut the vinyl using the paper cutter to the size that I need. I'm just gonna put it here. We're gonna stick it, shiny side goes down when you're using heat transfer vinyl. Oops, that one's not very straight. So you're gonna line it up on the top left corner. Press it down. That's ready to go. All right, so here on our software, we're gonna go to make. The most important thing when you're doing the heat transfer vinyl is to make sure that you hit mirror here so that it cuts it out mirrored, so that when we flip it over to put it on our shirt, it will be the right way. So we're going to go ahead and continue. And now the computer is going to be looking for the Cricut. All right, so it's connected to the Cricut. It's on iron on plus, that's here. That's what that dial is. It's gonna remind you, make sure mirror is turned on. It is. The blade is in there, everything we need. And there's so much more to the Cricut, you guys. Sometimes I do classes that goes through a lot more of this. This is very, very tiny intro. So we're gonna put that in there, load it in. Cut. All right, it's cutting out my design right now. I'll take this minute to tell you. So next week we are going to look at how to weed the vinyl. That basically means we're taking away the parts that were cut out. And then the following week, I'm going to show you how to use the heat press. So that's our 3-part series on the Cricut. Again, there's so much more to it. So I will let you know next time I do a Cricut class. That's always a really fun one. But that's it for now. All right, we'll see you next week. Bye.